Hello everyone, welcome back to IMS BBA YouTube channel. In this video, we will be looking at the ultimate strategy to ace Maharashtra CET for BBA and BMS. We will be discussing the paper pattern for the particular examination. We will also look at the previous year cutoff so that you can set your targets for all your sim tests which you give. We will also look at the detailed preparation plan for each and every section, which is English, reasoning, general knowledge and awareness, and computer basics. And the most important thing, we'll be looking at the detailed 30-day plan so that you can achieve more than 99 percentile and secure one of the top colleges. Starting with the paper pattern, Maharashtra CET has total 100 questions, 30 questions in English, 30 questions in reasoning. Remember, there is a change in paper pattern from last year where you had 40 questions in reasoning. This year you only have 30 questions, which is a mix of both verbal and arithmetic reasoning, 20 questions each in general knowledge and awareness and computer basics. The paper is for 120 minutes, 2 hours. Majority of the students have always reported that they are able to complete this paper before time, because again it's a very easy paper but a very high scoring paper to meet that higher requirements for cutoffs. Scoring has +1 for correct answer, and this paper has no negative marking, which means that you have to attempt the entire paper. Now let us look at the last year cutoff for some of the top colleges in Mumbai. Starting with Jai Hind College. Remember, these cutoffs are taken from the official CAP website for the last year. These cutoffs are for general and open category. You can visit the website and also check the cutoff for all the other categories. Now, for general and open, for Jai Hind College BMS, the cutoff was 99.57 percentile. For BBA, it was 99.59. Coming to NM College, it had the highest cutoff for BMS, which was 99.76. For Mithibai College, it was 99.57. For Poddar College, it is 99.15. For BMS, 98.26 for BBA. For UPG, Usha Praveen Gandhi College, it was 99.07 for BMS program. Coming to Hinduja College, the cutoff dropped to 95.61 percentile for BMS and 95.81 for BBA. Now you can pause the video, take a screenshot so that your target are set for you and you know how much efforts and hard work you need to pour so that you can get one of the top colleges for your respective programs. Now let us also look at the strategy to ace this particular test. This is an exam of accuracy and at the same time of speed. You have to move quickly throughout the entire paper, but you cannot commit a lot of mistakes because you saw that the cutoffs are extremely high for some of the top colleges and programs, and hence you have to be accurate when you're moving with that high speed. Ideal order of sections and time requirement. You need to start your paper with the English section. You can give 30 minutes to this particular section for 30 questions. The section has only few questions in form of reading comprehensions. The remaining questions are one-liners and can be answered quickly. The reason we say 30 minutes is so that you can have accuracy throughout this section, because again verbal is a subjective topic and there are chances you may be confused between two close options, and that extra 10 or 5 seconds can be a differentiating factor to get it correct or get it wrong. Next, you can move to reasoning section. Because this section involves a lot of puzzles, then you need to spend 45 minutes to get it correct. General knowledge, you have 20 questions. 15 minutes is more than enough, because again it will be one liners, either you know it or you don't know it. Computer basics, 15 minutes, more than enough. Now if you add the total time, it is 30, 45, 75 minutes plus 15, which is 90 minutes, plus 15, which is 105 minutes. You would be confused. So the paper is for 120 minutes, but we have allocated only 105 minutes. Like I said initially, Maharashtra CET paper is easy and majority of the students have reported completing the paper before time. So this time split is given according to that. Obviously the 15 minutes buffer which you have is a good thing to have during the paper, because in case you spend 5 or 10 minutes more in English or reasoning, you don't need to worry, you will still have sufficient time to complete the entire paper by attempting GK and computer basics. Now, very important point to note, you need to thoroughly memorize general knowledge and computer basics. These two sections are going to be the differentiating factor between the students who make it into the top colleges and the students who are not securing one of those top colleges and seats. GK is going to be slightly more tedious in terms of preparation than computer basics. Again, for the last 2 years, questions from computer basics have been very easy. Out of this 20 questions, I'm pretty sure you will easily manage 15 or 16 questions. But GK, because it is vast, it will take more time in terms of preparation. But like I said, this is going to be the differentiating factor definitely during this paper. Don't be fixated on any one particular question. Remember, this is not your board examination. It is an aptitude test. Every single question carries equal weightage, which is 1 mark. Even if you have a difficult question, you are spending 8 minutes and then you get it correct, you will still be awarded only 1 mark. So it does not make sense to spend 8 minutes on only one question, then rush through all the remaining questions, and then there is a higher probability of getting them wrong, and then your overall score goes down. Maharashtra CET does not have sectional cutoff. It does not have sectional percentile. You will be judged only on your overall percentile, which is based on your overall score. So just getting fixated on a single question never helps your case. So during the paper, if you encountered a difficult question, give it 90 seconds, try the question. If you don't get the answer, just fluke it and move forward. Don't be obsessed with any particular section or a question. Ideal attempts, you have to attempt the entire paper since there is no negative marking, and you need to make sure that you have a minimum accuracy of 90%. So out of 100, even when you're practicing your mocks, you need to target that you are scoring minimum 90 marks. Coming to the preparation plan for English section, for the last 2 years there has been 1 or 2 reading comprehension which would have 4 to 8 questions. Again, you can start practicing your reading comprehensions accordingly every day. If you do 1 or 2 RC, it's good enough, but make sure it's a timed practice so that you're working on your speed at the same time you're working on your accuracy. Fill in the blanks. These questions are very easy. They are based on the basic grammar. You may end up getting prepositions or some questions based on vocabulary, but easy questions, and there will be 7 to 8 questions like that. So you can start preparing on these lines. Tenses, make sure that you are remembering all the rules for different kind of tenses, because these questions sometimes can be tricky and you can be confused between two close options. Prepositions, they may ask you again in form of fill in the blanks or separate questions. There could be 4 to 5 questions on this. Voices, 3 to 4 questions where you need to convert either active voice to passive to active. Vocabulary, 1 to 3 questions in the form of synonyms or antonyms. Parts of speech, you may have 1 or 2 questions. So make sure that you are going through all your parts of speech. Again, this is going to be a easy question and you don't want to lose out on your marks in this particular topic. Coming to reasoning, this section involves questions from both verbal reasoning as well as arithmetic reasoning. Coming to your verbal reasoning, you will have 5 to 6 questions which are in the form of statement assumption, statement course of action, statement what is implied, such kind of questions. So make sure you are doing enough practice, because majority of the times in reasoning section, these are the questions where you will be stuck between two close options. Arithmetic is something which you don't have purely in terms of cons, but you may end up having a DI set based on which you may get some average question or a ratio or a percentage question, and there could be 6 to 8 questions like that. Series, there would be a numerical series and they will ask you to find a term which is missing, or they may ask you to find a odd man out term in that particular numerical series. Sometimes you don't get just numerical series, you also end up getting alphanumeric series, which is part of your coding decoding as well. Now, coding decoding standalone, you will have 4 to 5 questions. In this coding decoding, you also get symbol based logic. So also prepare those kind of questions. Family tree, blood relations, 3 to 4 easy questions, manageable, slightly time consuming, and hence, like I discussed in strategy, we give 45 minutes to this particular section. Syllogisms, 2 to 3 questions, visual reasoning, 1 or 2 questions only. Talking about general knowledge and awareness. Remember, nobody can give you an exhaustive list of topics which can come in GK section. It is not possible because GK is an ocean. It is very vast. Now, based on the last 2 years of paper, some of the common topics which Maharashtra CET is usually testing students on is location of famous places. So it could be a famous city, or it could be a heritage site, or it could be something which is of historical significance, or something which is of environmental significance, but a location of some of the famous places. Sporting events which have happened in the last 1 or 2 years, so who have won those events, or what was so significant about a particular sporting event. Government and politics, mainly around India and especially around Maharashtra. Commerce, related to business and what major deals have taken place. Important dates which are there throughout the year, and some questions on history. Coming to computer basics, this section is the easiest in the entire paper. You will have topics and questions on basic input and output devices. So they may ask you that out of printer, keyboard, mouse, monitor, what is a input device or output device. So again, very easy. You have been doing this since school time, and in your generation, computer is something which everybody is well versed with, and easily you can navigate through this kind of questions. Then data storage options, what is a full form of SSD, or a difference between SSD and a hard disk, or a difference between ROM and a RAM, full forms, type of devices, and inventors. Now, the most important part of this particular video, what should you do for the next 30 days so that you can get more than 99 percentile and secure one of the top colleges. Today, 28th March, when you are seeing this particular video, I would recommend that write your first SIM Maharashtra CET mock. If you are an IMS student, the mocks are available to you. If you are not an IMS student, you can put your email ID in the comment section. Our team will get back to you with the details about the test series, and you can enroll for it. The first mock which we write today without any preparation is to establish a baseline so that you are getting familiar with the paper pattern, you understand how the paper will look, you understand the question types, and then accordingly you can start working on the important topics. So today, the moment you watch this video, go and write your first mock. Don't be nervous about your scores. Don't be nervous about the performance. Just write the mock to understand the paper. You have more than enough mocks to practice and ace this particular test. After you have completed the mock, for next entire week, which is from Sunday to Saturday, what you need to do is daily study plan. Now, what is that daily study plan? I'll come to it in next 2 minutes. After that, on 5th April, we write another mock. Then we analyze the mock, we work on our mistakes, we understand our mistakes. Then 2 days of daily study plan. Third mock, 2 days of daily study plan. Then fourth mock, 2 days of daily study plan. You follow this pattern. Then coming to 19th April, you write your 7th mock. One day you follow the daily study plan. 21st April, you write your 8th mock. After this, you have given more than enough mocks. You have taken in total, if you follow this entire schedule properly, 8 mocks. In this 8 mocks, if you have analyzed everything well, if you have documented your analysis, you will identify some patterns of mistakes. Then you can work on those patterns, create a final strategy which you will be using on the main day to ace the particular paper. After creating the strategy, give mock 9 and mock 10. This course will give you a lot of confidence and also will help you understand that the final strategy which you have chosen, is it working out, or do you still need to make any particular changes. Then on 26th April and 27th April, we don't write any mock. These 2 days are only to revise and rest. If you ask my advice, honestly, even on 27th April, just do some basic revision in the morning and then rest for the entire day. One day before your paper, having enough rest is also as important as preparing for this entire 29 days. Now, the reason I have given exam days 28, 29, 30, you obviously don't need to go and write paper on all 3 days, but the date is not fixed. So based on your admit card, either you will write it on 28th or 29th or 30. If you want a PDF of this particular calendar so that you can take the screenshot or you can take a printout and you can have it in front of you for the next 30 days and you know what is the checklist which you need to follow, again you can put a comment in the particular video and then the team will get back to you with the particular PDF. Now, coming to the daily study plan, what should you do in that daily study plan? You need to do 40 questions of English daily. In this 40 questions, the prep plan which I have discussed earlier, you need to make sure that you are covering all the topics in this 40 questions. So in this 40 questions, minimum you should practice 2 RC, you should practice your tenses, your parts of speech, you should also practice your voices and other grammatical topics. 40 questions of reasoning. Common mistake is that students like a particular reasoning chapter more than others. So for example, arrangements. And then students like it because it's easy for them to do it and then they just end up practicing that. It will not help you to boost your overall score. So you need to make sure that in the 40 questions, you are practicing all the different types of reasoning questions, which also includes verbal reasoning. 1 hour of general knowledge every single day is a must. This will help you to remember as much facts as possible so that you can ace out of the 20 minimum 15 or 16 questions. 30 minutes of computer basics is more than enough. Now, on the day of sim test, you need to do analysis. Taking a test is only 20% of your efforts, but analyzing a test well is the remaining 80% of the efforts. When you give a test, you get a score. Based on your score, either you can be very happy out of 100 if you secure 92, or you can be very sad out of 100 you secure 75, or you can be not affected by the scores at all. So let us say you secure 85 to 90 and you are like, okay, this is what we always do. But having any of these emotions is not going to help you. Even if you get 95, you need to identify what things went in your way and the 5 questions which are wrong, were they genuinely difficult questions to be wrong or did you mess up an easy question? If you get a very low score, you don't need to be disheartened with the score. You need to identify that what were the mistakes which you committed and you have to learn from those mistakes so that you don't repeat them on the main day. Why do we give 10 marks before the main test? So that we are aware about all the possible mistakes which we can commit as an individual and then we can work on those mistakes so that they are not repeating on the main day and main day goes in our favor. So analysis is very important. In the description, we will also attach the link to how to analyze a particular sim test. Make sure that you're watching that particular video after completing the sim test to understand the detailed process of analysis. During analysis, some important things to remember: document your mistakes so that after giving 4 or 5 marks, when you look at all the marks together, you can try to identify some pattern in particular mistakes. Then go through the solutions and learn your shortcuts. When I say go through the solutions, not only for wrong questions, but even for correct questions. Sometimes you may end up getting a question correct, but after spending too much time, and there can be an easier approach which can save time, and it is important you are also learning that after you have given a particular mock test. Revisit your strategy after each and every test and create any improvements in that particular strategy so that you can boost your overall score in the upcoming mock. So make sure to revisit the strategy after every test is over. And like I said, after 8 tests is over, you have enough data to create your final strategy. Thank you so much for watching this particular video. All the best for your Maharashtra CET exams. I hope you found this video to be informative and helpful. Make sure to subscribe to our channel so that you are constantly updated with more such informative videos. Thank you so much and all the best for the paper.